All right, welcome to the Glendale Housing Authority meeting for April 5th, being called to order at 3:04 p.m. To help slow the transmission of COVID-19 and to protect the health and safety of the community, City Council as well as board and commission meetings will continue to be closed to the public for in-person attendance, although I believe our City Council meeting this evening is open to the public, and we hope to figure out a way to continue that moving forward. However, the public is encouraged, as always, to watch and participate from the safety of their homes, to practice social distancing. Meetings are broadcast live on Glendale TV, viewable on Spectrum Cable, Channel 6, and AT&T Uverse, Channel 99. Meetings are also streamed live in high definition on the city's webpage at glendaleca.gov/live, on youtube.com/myglendale, and on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire devices using the free app called ScreenWeave and choosing Glendale TV from the menu. For public comments and questions during the meeting, call 818-937-8100. Public comments on a specific agenda item will be taken when that agenda item is discussed. May we have roll call?
Authority Member Arginian.
Present.
Agajanian. Authority Member Agajanian.
Present. Present.
Brotman.
Here.
Devine.
Here.
Najarian.
Here.
Barazian.
Here.
And Chair Kasakian.
Here. May we have the next item, which is approval of minutes?
I move the items.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. If there are no objections, let's just quickly do the roll call for the minutes.
Authority Member Arginian.
Present.
Agajanian.
No, I'm
Yes.
sure. Member
Yes.
Ajinian, you meant yes, correct?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
all right. Present and yes. Thank you.
Authority Member Brotman.
Yes.
Devine.
Yes.
Najarian.
Yes.
Barazian.
Yes.
And Chair Kasakian.
Yes, thank you. Next item is oral communication. Do we have any callers?
We do not have any callers.
All right, if we do not have any callers, we will consider that item closed, and we'll move on to the business agenda. Will you please read into the record item 6A?
6A, Community Development regarding public hearing and approval of the Section 8 Public Housing Agency Annual Plan, fiscal year 2022-2023. One, resolution adopting the authorizing the submission of the Public Housing Agency Annual Plan for fiscal year 2022-2023.
All right. Mr. Galanian?
Yes, good afternoon.
Would you like me to open the public hearing? Is that better? Okay, well, we'll open the hearing, and then I'll turn it over to Mr. Galanian.
All right, good afternoon, Chair Kasakian, members of the City Housing Authority. As it was read into the record, this is our annual report on Section 8 program. And we have Veronica Villarde from our housing section staff who's going to make the presentation. Peter Zovak and Arthur Bolbolian are available to respond to questions, as well as staff from our homelessness services section who may you have answers for. With that, Veronica.
Good afternoon, Housing Authority Chair Kasakian, Housing Authority members, and city staff. My name is Veronica Velarde. I'm a housing analyst in the Housing Division. Today we're holding our annual public hearing for the Section 8 Public Housing Agency Annual Plan for fiscal year 2022-2023. The annual plan is required by the Department of Housing and Urban Development for full program compliance and continued funding of the Section 8 program. The PHA plan is a comprehensive guide to the Section 8 PHA policies, programs, operations, and strategies for meeting local housing needs and goals. The plan also provides a progress report on the goals and objectives that were outlined in the PHA 5-year plan that was adopted in 2020. Since our agency has been rated a high-performing agency by HUD, our agency is eligible to submit a streamlined plan. As required by HUD, staff met with the Resident Advisory Board during a March WebEx telephone meeting to review the plan and obtain comments. Those comments will be included and submitted to HUD and are also included in the staff report. HUD requires that this plan be submitted by April 17th, which is 75 days before the start of the next fiscal year. In conclusion, staff is recommending that the Housing Authority adopt a resolution authorizing the submission of the Section 8 Public Housing Agency Annual Plan for fiscal year 2022, 2023 to HUD. And that concludes my presentation. I can answer any questions if you have any. Thank you.
Are there any questions or comments? Authority Member Brotman?
Yeah, so I guess we're not going through the PowerPoint, is that right? No? Okay, well then I'll just ask my questions based on the staff report. And some of these I asked in the briefings. I just wanted to make sure anybody listening is aware. So I want to focus on the emergency housing vouchers. So I understand we received 225 and 80 of those have been approved. And out of that 80, I believe I have this right from yesterday, 14 have actually been placed in housing. That's right, isn't it? Yeah. So I guess my question is, well, a few questions there. First, the 80 that we have, approved or placed in housing, are these from the sheltered or unsheltered population?
Yes, please.
Good afternoon, Chair Kasakian, members of the Housing Authority. The majority of the applications, about 90% of the referrals, are coming from the emergency shelter. Majority of them are coming through Essentia, our coordinated entry agency for homeless individuals. About 90%, yes, are unsheltered population. And we did this because we wanted to prioritize and make sure everyone who's coming through our emergency shelter system is being placed first. So to answer your question, yes.
Okay, good. That's what I thought. So, and how many people do we have in the approval pipeline, depending on, however you define that? I mean, people that have taken the first step, that are showing an interest. I'm wondering, basically what I'm trying to get at is, how are we doing? What kind of backlog do we have? How quickly is it, are we getting people through the process? I know we have some challenges around getting landlords to be willing to take these vouchers for people that are unhoused. So maybe rather than ask all these specific questions, you can just kind of address a little bit, how it's going. What's the process? What's the backlog? And anything that we can be doing. I know we're providing incentives to landlords to encourage them to participate, but is there anything else that we can think of doing to get those units available? Because these 225 housing vouchers are great, right?
Right.
It's something we haven't had before, and how do we really get all of our unsheltered and our sheltered, folks into permanent housing?
Housing Authority Member Broadman, I would be happy to answer your questions on behalf of the COC. And Arthur, if you want to maybe step in on Section 8's perspective, I can pass the mic over to you after I go over our process. So the Glendale COC is working very closely with our agencies and also the Housing Authority. Of the 225 vouchers, we have designated, I believe, roughly around 166 referrals have already come in, of which 80 vouchers are already issued. So it is a process. When clients come through our coordinated entry system, our agencies do assess the clients as quickly as possible. Then the referral is now made through our system. Initially, when we were ramping up and we were getting ready to roll out the program, everything was done manually, which was slowing down the process a bit. So now we have all of our clients being referred through our Homeless Management Information Systems, or HMIS system. So the referral process has been expedited. Once the Housing Authority receives the criminal background checks, they push those through within a couple of days. Now, the downside is working with our unsheltered population, there are many barriers, such as obtaining some of the core documents. A lot of our clients don't have their Social Security on hand or their IDs or birth certificates. And HUD does require these core documents in order for the Housing Authority to be able to eventually issue the voucher. Now, thankfully, our Housing Authority members have agreed to take on the application based on whatever information we have at that time, to give us some extra time to work with our clients to obtain those core documents. So there are several factors that are contributing to the delay of getting our clients leased up. One being the supporting documentation. Two, of course, our agencies and staffing, because everything was being done rather quickly, we were ramping up and also running the program taking on the referrals at the same time. So I think overall in the past month, it has been a smoother process. And now that we have utilized the majority of our vouchers for the unsheltered population, we are approving clients that are coming to us that are at risk of becoming homeless. We have approved several applications, actually, for those clients as well. So things are looking a lot better, and the process is I think, more efficient. But there are several challenges. And then also working with our property owners, persuading or getting the buy-in from our property owners to work with our clients, especially those that have several challenges coming off the street. But we do have the support of our ongoing landlords that have been working with us with our existing programs. So although 14 sounds like a very low number, countywide, if you look at the EHV lease-ups, everyone is struggling to get people housed. In fact, 2 months ago, I had an opportunity to sit on the CES Policy Council for LASA, and they had about 21 countywide, citywide. So the numbers are really low, but we are aware of some of the challenges, and we're working closely with our agencies and the Housing Authority, maybe looking at the possibility of having some type of a landlord engagement, recruitment type of workshops, work groups, anything that would bring in more participation from our landlords. So that's where we are in terms of the COC. We are keeping a very close eye. Now things will start speeding up because now we're looking at the population that's coming through from our rapid rehousing programs. These are clients who are currently housed in a temporary rental assistance program, and their subsidy is coming to an end. So now we're looking at transitioning those clients who can't afford the rent on their own to the EHV program. So I hope I answered your question. I'll be happy to.
That was very helpful. And just last thing, so if somebody wants to refer somebody into the program, who do they contact?
Depending on the population, so if it's a homeless individual, they would have to go through Essentia, and an intake has to be completed so they can be part of our coordinated entry system. And then Essentia would make that referral directly to the housing or to the COC, meaning us, homeless services staff. If they're families, they would have to come through Home Again LA. Our agency was formerly known as Family Promise of the Verdugos. They're now called Home Again LA. And if they're fleeing domestic violence, they would have to go through the YWCA of Glendale and Pasadena. And then for homeless prevention, we either work with Catholic charities to get them assistance, and if we see that clients are not able to maintain the rent on their own, we then refer them to the Armenian Relief Society for services. So there's several point of entries, but of course we're here to assist the clients during that process.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Do any other authority members have any questions for staff or comments? Okay. A while back, I had asked about us or staff looking into the possibility of, or just reporting back on the general shortage or the market as far as availability of potentially Section 8 voucher qualifying housing. In general, Mr. Zovak, you may still be working on providing that information. You may have already provided, and I just haven't had a chance to review it. But what is your assessment in terms of, for those individuals, aside from this particular group with a unique set of circumstances, what is the availability of Section 8 housing in the current market?
Yes, Chair Kosaki, members of the Housing Authority, I do recall your comment at a previous meeting. This is something that we've been looking at.
Okay.
We've recently been able to start pulling applicants off the Section 8 waiting list. When we started pulling them off the waiting list, we had at that time established a brand new incentive programs. So we felt that those helped. Most recently, another change that we've implemented is that we've adjusted, and as it's stated in the Section 8 annual plan before you, we've adjusted our payment standards, which provide quite a bit of opens up quite a bit of options for tenants in going out and being able to secure units. So we're looking at those two tools that we've had in place to see how helpful they've been and whether or not something else needs to be brought in. We want to give it a few more months before we make any decisions about possibly looking into some of the other considerations that were mentioned. But again, we think that the payment standard might be a big help for applicants out there searching. We currently have about 40 people that have been issued vouchers that are out looking, and we're now pulling a few others off the list, about 100 others. And so we want to see what that experience is for them, and then we can come back with something in the future.
Great. I think that would be an interesting sample to look at in terms of their experience. Any other comments or questions?
May I have a question?
Yes,
Mr. Kasakian?
Authority Member Parazian.
Okay, since you did talk about the current payment standards, Peter, is the new current payment standard apply to both the existing Section 8 recipients and the new Section 8 households?
Yes, the payment standards will apply to every existing applicant on the Section 8 program, and then all new applicants pulled and qualified.
Okay.
And then
thank
we
you.
also have a separate payment standard for the EHV applicants as well. And those have been set at the maximum limits allowed by HUD because that's a separate budget and a separate program from our regular program. So there are less implications of setting something so high.
Okay, thank you so much.
Are there any other questions or comments? If seeing none, I see Authority Member Agajanian. Yes, you were on mute.
I would like to move the item.
Well, allow me to, first we'll close the public hearing. And now we will accept your motion for the resolution at 6A1. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. May we have a roll call vote?
Authority Member Arginian,
Yes.
Agajanian,
Yes.
Brotman,
Yes.
Devine,
Yes.
Najarian,
You may have had to step out.
Parazian,
Yes.
and Chair Kasakian.
Yes, thank you. Are there any authority member or staff comments? I will briefly state that last week we had the first housing summit here in Glendale. It was one of the things that I was hoping to do as Housing Authority Chair, and I want to thank staff, especially Christine Powers from Management Services, and the Coro Public Affairs Fellowship that lent us a person that helped us with that. All of staff, including the housing staff and community development, everyone who made it possible. We had, I believe, all of our council members, most of our council members were there, and it was an opportunity to hear about some of the challenges that we're facing as cities in this Tri-City area, Burbank, Pasadena, and Glendale. We had professionals speak about the challenges that they face and being able to provide more housing, as well as academics from both UCLA and USC. This was the first such event. I'm hoping that we will be able to continue it, and as we pass the gavel on to the next Housing Authority Chair, and we'll continue to work with our neighboring cities. Maybe someone else will host it next year, and it could come back to Glendale on a rotating basis, and hopefully we'll also make it more available to the public. In this particular time, we were crunched for time. We did take some photos and some video, and some of the materials all of the materials can be made available for anyone who's interested in it. But I want to thank everyone who made it possible. There was some interesting discussions, some important challenges facing us both as a city, as a region, and as a state in terms of providing housing to both the unhoused, to those who are housing challenged, who are on the margins, and just in general, people who want to be able to live in the communities they work in, and that their kids go to school in. So thank you again. Question to our legal counsel and city manager. This is technically the last meeting as Housing Authority Chair, right? But we won't transition until afterwards? Following the mayor's transition, we'll select a new Housing Authority Chair?
hope my mic is working. Yes. Housing Authority Chair Kasakian, the time for the selection of the Housing Authority Chair will be at the next regular meeting of the Housing Authority, which will be on the 19th.
Okay, great. So with that, if there is no other authority member or staff comments, and since we have no new business, is there a
Move to
motion to
close.
adjourn?
Move to close.
Second.
All right, we will stand adjourned. Thank you very much.
Aaron?
Madam Mayor, we're calling downstairs to get you live.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Mayor, we are back on live.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, at 3:24, I will call to order the Glendale City Council meeting for April 5th, 2022. Boards and commissions will continue to be closed to the public for in-person attendance. As I understand it, tonight's council meeting will be open, but not sure how it will go after that. You are encouraged to watch and participate from the safety of your homes to practice social distancing, and of course, watch on AT&T Universe, Uverse, Channel 99, Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire devices, and the Glendale web. Let's see. For public comments and questions during the meeting, call 818-937-8100. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Agajanian,
Present.
Brotman,
Here.
Kasakian,
Here.
Najarian, and Mayor Devine.
Here. What's next, please?
Next would be closed session. 1A would be conference with real property negotiators, property location, real property generally located at the terminus of New York Avenue near Park Vista Drive, commonly referred to as Mountain Oaks. Negotiating parties, FE&M Incorporated, employees defined contribution plan, trust dated July 10th, 1984. Agency negotiators attending the closed session are Rubik Galanian, Michael J. Garcia, Jillian Van Meiden, John Tuktalian, Silvio Lanzis, Jason Bradford, Christine Powers, and Onik Bulanikian. Instructions to the negotiators will concern the price and terms for the acquisition of the property. B would be conference with legal counsel pending litigation, FE&M Incorporated, employees defined contribution plan, trust dated July 10th, 1984 versus City of Glendale et al., LASC, case number BS 16989. C would be conference with legal counsel pending litigation, Sierra Club versus City of Glendale et al., LASC, case number 22STCP 00983. D would be conference with legal counsel pending litigation, Glendale residents against environmental destruction versus City of Glendale et al., LASC, case number 22STCP 01021. E would be public employment attorneys. F would be conference with legal counsel pending litigation, Shavira versus the City of Glendale, LASC, case number 21STCV 44569. G, conference with real property negotiators, property location 216 North Brand Boulevard, Alex Theater, negotiating parties, SAS Entertainment, agency negotiators attending the closed session are Rubik Galanian, Michael J. Garcia, Jillian Van Meiden, John Tuktalian, Jason Bradford, Bradley Calvert, and Tal Marsad. Instructions to the negotiators will concern the price and terms for the lease of the property.
Thank you, thank you. Mr. Garcia, do you expect to report out on any of these items?
Yes, Madam Mayor, we anticipate reporting out items 1E and 1F.
All right, thank you. Then we will recess to closed session. Thank you.